Hello everybody, Spiderfella here. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Ben Reily Spider-Man figure from the Retro Spider-Man Wave 2. Now we've of course seen this body mold before in the Retro Spider-Man and the Retro Symbiote Spider-Man. But I guess we're gonna see it again here on this figure, but this time it's an interpretation of the sensational suit that Ben Reily wore in the 90s. Yeah. But let's just go over the accessories real quick, a little preview. Of course you got some tooth whipping hands, you got the fists, and you got the wall crawling hands. Of course, those are the necessities for a Spider-Man action figure and should be standard, like I've been saying. But I just don't think it's enough. What I mean is, I don't think it's right to just, oh, since we have three pairs of hands, now we have to get rid of a possible extra head or something. Like, to me, that just doesn't fit very well. Like, just with, it just doesn't seem entirely like, oh, that should be, fair, get rid of a head just to include extra hands. Although I would prefer the extra hands, you know, but that's just how it's going to be with that kind of thing. But now that we've gotten a look at the front of the box, taking a look at the back, you can see the other figures in the wave, and you get a little bio. So if you want to read that, you can pause the video real quick. But now that we've gotten the box out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at the figure. Alright, now that I've gone ahead and posed around with the figure, well, there's some things I like and some things I don't like, but obviously we'll get into that. Uh, but yeah, this is the second sensational suit that we've gotten from Marvel Legends for Ben Reily. This is more in like the retro style. A lot of the same, things that people may not like about the new Spider-Man book that they've been using recently is here, but because it is just a repaint of the others, which we will compare at the end of the video. But let's just get a closer look on some of the details that this figure has. So much like the Retro Spider-Man, this has painted on webbing, it's not sculpted on. And unfortunately, I feel like that the paint job isn't the cleanest. As you can see, there's a black spot right there. And for me, it might just be me, but the lines don't seem to connect. Like, they don't seem to line up very well, like on the head to body. It almost looks like the lines are bigger on this side and thinner on this side, which is making it look kind of slanted to me. But that just might be me. I don't know. Um, and and also I've noticed this on the legs. It looks like one of them might have more red on one leg than the other. I don't exactly know for sure, but it looks like it to me. I could be wrong, but it kind of looks like that to me. Um, not entirely sure what that's about, but it could just be my eyes, but I don't know. To me, it looked like that they weren't completely even, but like right here, like they're lined up, pretty well. Like I'd even say that's a better lineup for their feet, and there's more red on this one than this one, and it's more pronounced, I guess. But I don't know. I could be wrong. Could just be me. But let's see. So you get the lines, the webbing, and then you get the big spider logo, which goes all the way around on the back. Same thing here. I think that the spider might not line up entirely um, on the figure super well. Definitely not perfect, like especially with right there on the chest. It's slightly slanted off, and on the back, it's it might be a little bit better, but even still, it kind of looks like it's not entirely straight. This is a pretty iconic design for Spider-Man, though, where the spider wraps all the way around his chest. So it might not be perfect all the time, but when you're paying almost $30 for a figure, I think most things should be perfect. But enough of that. But yeah, there's not really much to talk about since we've already gone through this mold before. You got the same muscles, the same leg muscles, same, same everything really. It's just paint job is different. And really the only paint on this figure is the red and the black, because it's actually blue plastic. So yeah, it's really only red and black, and I guess white for the eyes. But yeah, I wonder how much better this would look if this was, and same with the retro Spider-Man, how much better they would look if these were painted. I feel like they would look a lot better, but maybe that's just me. I don't know. But I know they've been doing that for a long time, and some people aren't really bothered by it, but I'm just wondering how it would look like, really. But now that we've, already looked at that, let's take a look at the accessories real quick. So obviously you got the flipping hands right there. Let me just do that real quick. And, they got the necessary details. They got, the hands, are correctly positioned. You got the two fingers right there and the thumb. Everything, is in check there. For the fists, they're standard fists. They each, and they have like that thing where, the two thwipping like parts that actually do the thwip or the web shoot, are blue. That's just kind of how the design is, and I've always liked that design. So yeah, each have the details there. And then the wall crawling hands, which, I'm glad they've started putting in more of these with more Spider-Man figures, because I feel like recently, or just, yeah, even recently too, they've been taking those out. And they got the details, you got the palms and everything. You got the little palm lines there. Everything's in order. Yeah, but I'm glad recently they've started to put in more hands and accessories. So let's take a look at the articulation. Same as last time, the head can look up that far. There's still that gap there, which, some figures have, some figures don't have this problem, and I don't really like the gap, to be honest with you, but I mean, yeah, I don't really like it. Hopefully they find out a better way to do that at some point. You can look down about that far, so not, pretty, I mean, for his joint and everything, that's going to be about as far as he gets down, which is all right. The head tilt is pretty good on this one. Not as good as Hammerhead's, but it's still pretty good. You also get, rotation fully at the head, so you can go all the way around. Let's see, so, in the arms, you can go up. With the shoulders, you can go up about that far. And you can rotate it. It's really, mine are really tight, but you can rotate it. As you can see, you can rotate. It's just pretty tight for the shoulders, and obviously you get full rotation for the shoulder. So that is always nice to see. You also get a butterfly joint that can go out about that far. It looks a little weird from this angle, but I don't know. For me, it looks a little different. It's alright though. Yeah, and they obviously haven't painted the entire inside, probably so that the black paint doesn't chip inside, but I could be wrong. That's a completely different reason, but you can go about that far, you can go stretch out about that far. So, you get a little movement in each. And then you get bicep swivel, you get double jointed elbows that can go about that far. For some reason, I feel like this is better than the symbiote, but then again, it's the same, so it's still not super great. Really hope they get that down at some point. You also get wrist rotation, and you get a hinge at the wrist. Nothing at the web shooters or the web cartridges. You also get that rotation right here, and you can go about, you can really like have them do some cool stuff, much like how we did last time with the symbiote suit. It's the same. And then look down about that far with the ab crunch, and he can go about that far with the ab crunch back, arch back. And if you really wanted to, you can use the upper body and kind of get it a little bit further. So I always thought this uh, articulated design is a little weird because they used to do it where the ab crunch was up here and then the waist swivel was right here. I don't know why they changed it. I don't know if this is better or worse, but I heard some people prefer this and some people prefer the other one. But I'm not entirely sure which one works better. I don't know if I like the older one. I think I kind of do like the older one better because this just feels off to me. But that's just me. But then again, you know, it's just new articulation. But I don't know. Something about it just seems like you should be able to do waist swivel, or have both. I don't know. But then again, you know, it's a figure, so everything. So sometimes, gonna get some different stuff. But let's see. So he has got thigh swivel. He has got double jointed knees that can go about that far. So not quite to his back, but as for Spider-Man, at some point, like I have been saying, they really need to figure something else out. You can go up that far with the hinge in the foot and down that far in the hinge in the foot, which is pretty good. You also get ankle pivot, which, is also pretty good. You also get shin swivel as well. Almost forgot about that one. You get the double hinge, which is it's an interesting piece of technology that they've been implementing, but I don't know if it does a whole lot. But when you kick forward about that far, and with the hinge, you can kick forward about that far and high, which is better, but I think there's figures that can do the same thing even without the double hinge. And then you can go to the side. That's his split. Could be better. There are figures that could do way better than him, so I'm hoping at some point they get this thing down, because this is not even 180. Especially for Spider-Man, this is something that they need to do. Kick back about that far, it's alright, but with the hinge you can get that far, so not much of a difference. But yeah, there's the articulation, and well, the paint job isn't perfect. I'm still debating on if this is the same as the other. I feel like there's more on this side than there is on this side. So yeah, the paint job hasn't been perfect, but then again, these figures came out. I mean, I don't know if it's really an excuse because, these figures are pretty recent. But yeah, hopefully with future Hasbro releases, the paint job gets better, and that it just gets better hopefully at some point. Because we're almost getting to that point where you have to pay $30 for a single Marvel Legend. I mean, it's enough at this point to pay around like 20, including tax and everything. It'd probably be about $23-24. That's a lot of money for just a single figure, especially when you can get less for a DC Multiverse figure, which I won't get into because I don't really collect the line, so I don't think it'd be fair for me to say anything about it. But yeah, I mean, it's a little weird. I think this one has more than that one. It's weird. I don't know what it is. It might just be the angle, but yeah, it might just be the angle. So let's take a look at how you switch. Sticking out the hands, see how that looks. Yep. There's that, of course, and then we'll put the fist on this one, so you could just see what that looks like. And there you go. You get a fist, and you get a wall crawling hand. Everyone's happy, right? Yeah, like I said, my only gripes are really, I feel like the build, they really need to find a new build. I get why people like it, but I get why people don't like it. I'm kind of in between. I think it's all right, but I think it's time for a change, especially with, with all this, there's new stuff coming. So at some point, we're going to have to find a new standard. because I don't know if this is entirely doing the job. But yeah, there you go with the Ben Reily Spider-Man. I really wish it came with a Ben Reily head, but unfortunately that's not the case. Here it is compared to the retro Spider-Man, and here it is next to the symbiote Spider-Man from the retro wave. So yeah, that's all of them together. And yeah, as you can see, they use the same body, but yeah, honestly, I mean, I think this works good for a retro body, but I'd like to see a new modern Spider-Man body as well. But I think that's gonna do it for this video, guys. You know, now we have Shocker. That is our last figure review for the Retro Wave 2. Hopefully you guys are looking forward to that video. I plan on making more videos after that as well, eventually, once, you know, more figures come in to get reviewed. But that's going to do it for today, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you later. Peace out, guys.